Head coach Kyle Shanahan here as well. Guys, Mykel Williams. Well, John, I guess we'll start with you. What did you like about the edge rusher from Georgia?
Everything. Mykel was the guy that our building got really the most convicted, and we talk a lot about consensus. And when we have that, we usually are cooking with gas. We hit at a high level, and that's exactly what we had with Mykel. I think he's exactly what we're looking for in an edge player. Got a great combination of physicality, length. We really believe the versatility to play both outside and then move down inside and rush the passer as well. So, and then just talking to people at Georgia, there's a toughness to this kid. He played through an ankle last year and only missed 2 games, but dealt with it the entire year. And I think he's just a tough guy. He's got a lot of passion for the game. And Kyle and I had an opportunity on his 30 visit to sit down, really get to know the kid. And only 20 years old, and I think his best football's to come, and he's been pretty darn productive already. So great fit for us.
Coach, your thoughts about Mykel?
Everything he just said, that was awesome. But no,
that's it. Drop it.
No, he's we start out with the D linemen's win games. So anytime you can add a good D lineman, a difference maker, that's usually where we want to start out. And we saw him as one. And when you just look at his length, how physical he can plays. I love how he uses his hands. He seems like a veteran in how he does it. And I think it's really cool when you watch a guy in college football play like a man. But you realize he's a 20-year-old. Wow. The difference in college football this year is you're going against mainly 25-year-olds with how long people stay. So when you watch a 20-year-old play like that versus NFL-aged people, I think it's pretty cool because can't wait to see him at 25.
Yeah, I read an article where you guys spent a lot of time with the players before the draft, just personally. Anything stand out about your time with him, interaction, anything that he said or did?
I would say, I won't speak for Kyle, but we tag team on a lot of these guys. We sit up in my office and talk to him. I think the thing with Mykel, other than that he's massive, he was very comfortable in his own skin, and I think that's authentic to me. There's a realness that this guy loves it. He is who he is, and I felt like this isn't recruiting, but he really wanted to be here, and we really wanted him to be here, and. Like I said, when you go off history, we've done well, and it's not all off the 30 visits. I mean, most of it is the film, but I think that just left us even more convicted of really wanting him, and that probably is what stands out most.
How much more desirable is a player that obviously can play on the outside but also can have the ability to slide inside? How much does that make an impact week in, week out?
It gives you a ton of flexibility. I mean, just losing Malik this year and stuff, losing some inside guys, some good inside pass rushers. Also losing Leonard, who's a very good edge player, good edge setter, good at rushing from the edge, and Mykel can do both. And when you're like that, that's a great thing for Saleh. I mean, when you can match guys up, you can put them wherever you want. And similar, 2 different players, but 2 good players, comparing to someone used like Eric Armstead. Eric was a problem on the edge, but he was also a huge problem over guards and could play either one depending on how our D-line panned out and what our roster was that year. But we got some really good guys here, but we lost a bunch, and we got to add a bunch more in here. And when you get a guy like this, we feel great at him at one spot and just as good at another.
His 40 time at the Pro Day was 4.77, John. His 10-yard split, 1.61. Do we have the GTFO for him, his first 3 steps? That's all we care about.
I'll let you explain GTFO, but just come to training camp and listen to Chris Kaceric's crazy, you know what? And that's what GTFO is.
Just getting off the ball.
Yeah, getting off the ball. He does it, and he does it well. And, it's I'm getting excited just thinking, the versatility Kyle's talking about. We got a guy in Yetur who also has that similar versatility. You throw him in there with Bosa, and like Kyle said, we still have 10 more picks, so we got a lot more work to do. A lot of opportunity for these guys to come in and earn a spot, and really this weekend's huge for us, and we got off to a great start.
Does he remind you of anybody you played with your time, all those great defenses?
Yeah, so on our defensive lines, we never we never had a guy really that big. I think kind of like the length of a Simeon Rice, but a different player. Simeon was kind of more of an edge, beat people around the corner. Mykel's different. Like Mykel's got kind of Trayvon Walker's a guy he's very similar to me, a former Georgia player. I didn't play with Trayvon, but I think they have a lot of similarities to their game. And he was a really, really impressive prospect.
How impressive was just the personality? You touched on it a little bit, Kyle. I guess I'll ask you for somebody that's so young. To be 20 and
that was the coolest part, because we do not just our scouts and John's whole group upstairs. They do homework on these guys for ever since they leave high school, and they go back to high school on it too. So they visit the school, they look into this stuff for 3 years, and some of them 4, some of them 6 right now. But the coolest thing when we're bringing them out on a 30 visit, I'm like, there's actually nothing I feel like I need to find out about this guy, because he checks out in so many areas. And when you see that, you just wonder if it's too good to be true. So you enjoy the conversation. And when we hung out with him, you just get those exact same vibes. You can see exactly why his college program felt the way he did about him, how he checked out with every coach we talked to, former players who know him. And then just to get to know him, he held himself very well. He knew how to act, knew how to talk, and was really cool to be around, and I know our guys are going to love him.
Yeah, Kirby Smart said he's a great leader for us. He was a 4-game captain. So big day tomorrow, big day Saturday. You got 10 picks. Running back, 3rd or 4th round this year, Kyle. Where are we going with that?
Well, odds are 3rd. Especially with
Which one? Which one you got? You got 75?
Well, probably both of them.
What'd you think of the draft? I mean, wow, how about the trade Jacksonville made, John, to trade up from 5 to 2?
Yeah, Kyle and I, we get so zeroed in on our own stuff. Sometimes you're supposed to kind of be watching, and we are, but we're talking strategy, and all that. But Jacksonville was aggressive, and good for them. They got a great player in Travis Hunter, and Cleveland had their reasons, and Jim Schwartz loves D lineman as well, and got a really strong player in Mason Graham. So interesting to kick this thing off.
John, I know you can't necessarily get into specifics, but
yeah.
I mean, generally speaking, how much of a back and forth were there maybe with teams calling, or you guys calling around, or different things about? I know you had mentioned everybody kind of wanting to do the same thing maybe, and that can lead to inaction.
Yeah, I was real prophetic. I said everyone's trying to move that way, and Jacksonville goes up and gets the number 2 pick. So, but that was the pulse of what was going on. Most people were trying to get back. It turned out there were some people trying to get up, but once Mykel was there, that was going to be our pick, and it felt really good. I don't think we were very confident he was getting to us.
No, we weren't.
Yeah. So, the fact that he did, that was a blessing, and we bounced when it happened.
How do you feel about this draft and the depth? I think one of the things we've talked about, there's 7 or 8 edge rushers that are all big, strong, fast, and then there's a number of others, and then tight ends and receivers. It's a very deep class for a certain number of positions. How are you viewing that for the later rounds?
I think that's exactly how it's advertised, is that way. Even being at 11, we had our guys. There were some real specific targets. Hey, if this guy's there, we're taking him. And we got that guy. But, if we were all betting guys, we didn't think he was going to be there. So we had 2 other guys that we were hoping would be there. But if we were betting guys, we probably wouldn't have bet on they were going to be there. So you start thinking, all right, if we miss these 3 or 4 guys, who are we taking at 11? Well, man, there's some people that say this should go at 11, but, man, I like this guy at 28 just as much. And that's how I almost see every team is. I haven't watched the draft since we picked. I've been doing this stuff, but I want to be surprised.
Just went to Tampa Bay at 19, Kyle.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's guys that go in the teens that people thought might have gone in the late 20s. And I don't think it's going to be much different in the second round. There's guys you would think, oh, you can for sure get this guy at 43 in the second round. But the more you look at the draft, you're like, man, this guy's not that much different than some of these 20 picks. So if someone wants him, this guy might go in the 20s. Yeah. So you think about that stuff, and you think of guys in years past, and I think this draft will be the strongest in that type of way.
Pick number 11 is the first of the weekend. You got 11 total. And when Kyle's talking about is playing poker, you got a valuation on all the players, and now you play the board. Do you think you'll make 11 picks? Will you move up to take less? What are your thoughts on how many picks at the end of the weekend? Do you have a feel?
I don't. You never know, but we'll use a lot of them. I know that. There may be one or 2 guys where we feel the need to move up. I don't think we're going to sit back and acquire more picks. We already got a lot of them. But you never know. I think Kyle said it just right. This draft, I think in the middle of it, it's real strong, and it goes for a while. And there's a lot of starting level candidates, and we're excited about that. We've done a good job of putting our work in throughout our organization, and it's going to be a fun weekend.
I think that's the hardest thing, because you want 11 guys to add to our team. 3 of those are 7th-round picks, and a lot of times that doesn't hit right. So you're like, maybe we should use one of those to go up, and then we think about, we got to. It's like, wait, but that could be 3 Brock Purdy's. That could be one. That could be one JJ.
Jennings.
Yeah, like you don't. So you 7th-round pick, 6th-round picks. You want to move up, but that could be DJ Jones. Like 5th-round pick. Let's move up. Well, that could be George Kittle. That could be Dre Greenlaw. So yes, you want to move up but you know what? Those guys can still be good back there too, and the draft is pretty evened out more this year than usual, and that's the stress of it. You don't know exactly how it's going to fall, and when I talk about falling, like where people think people are going to go and stuff, but I told my wife his secret last night that we wanted Mykel if he was there, and she texted me at 7.
Good with secrets. She didn't tweet it out.
No, she knows better.
She didn't tell Kawakami.
No.
Oh, damn.
We don't know how to tweet. But then she texted me at 7, or calls me, and she's like, I just read mock drafts, and Mykel's not going until 28. and then
you blew it.
Why didn't you get straight back?
And then she starts going, are you sure you guys are right? You're obviously wrong. And I'm like, you never know, honey, but we got to ignore that.
You guys have had so much success drafting starters, especially last year in that 2nd, 3rd, 4th, later in the draft. What do you attribute that to? The scouting department, your work with the guys pre-draft. How do you account for that?
I think the process. I think the fact that our guys work so well together, and that everyone's listened to. I think a lot of places, a couple people make, and ultimately somebody is charged with making those decisions, and that's Kyle and I. And but everybody is heard here, and I think when that's the case, everybody can contribute, and everyone feels ownership and part of it. And you end up doing a really solid job. And we've told the stories of Brock Purdy, and ultimately it gets to us. But before that, there's a lot of work between scouts and coaches. And so I think when that feeling of work is genuine, we spend that much time together, it translates into success, especially late.
So like a Dominic Pooney coming in and early in last offseason comes in and is plugged in as a starter. Was that something you saw during the draft process, and hey, this guy, not a developmental guy, he can come in and play right away?
I think it's rare that we take a guy in that area that we don't believe has the capability of being a starter.
Yeah.
I mean, when you take an O-lineman there, you're not going to hit on a ton of starters, but there's not one. It's going to be hard for us to take a 4th-round O-lineman and just say, hey, we're getting a good backup. Yeah. If that's our argument on someone, that argument's probably going to lose to someone who sells this linebacker as a possible starter or this possible DB, and that's kind of how we all compare it. And if we see something in there that Pooney can be a starter for us, which starts with the scouts and bringing it to us and understanding how it fits in our schemes, and the coaches cross-checking it for these last 2 months, and then getting back with the scouts to compare and contrast and talk about the Zoom meetings, all the stuff that goes down, we always believe he has a chance to be a starter, and rarely take a guy any other way.
Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, thank you guys. We'll let you get back and wrap up the first round, and we'll be talking to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll come back here, and we'll update everyone on the most recent picks. We'll also head back out to Jack's in San Jose.